Okay, so in today's lesson, we are going to write equations in point slope form and slope intercept form. And when we're given a point in a parallel line, we're also going to do point slope form and slope intercept form for point and perpendicular lines. So before we can do that, let's talk about parallel lines and perpendicular lines. Parallel lines have the same slope. So if we take a look at our example, the first equation, our m equals 2. And in our second equation, m also equals 2. So those are exactly the same. We know that those are parallel lines. Perpendicular lines have what we call opposite reciprocal slopes. So first word is opposite, second word is reciprocal. But here's the thing. They're two different words. Opposite means one thing, reciprocal means another. So if I take a look here, the slope in this first equation is positive 3. And it's over 1, if we want to think about that, right? It's not a fraction, but we can turn it into a fraction. Our second slope is m equals negative 1/3. So these two slopes are called opposite reciprocals, but let's talk about what it means to be opposite and what it means to be reciprocal. So opposite means that we have positive versus negative. And we're talking about numbers here. So I'm going to give a couple of examples. So for example, if I have 2 and negative 2, or if I have 1/3 and negative 1/3, or if I have something like 5 and negative 5. These are all opposite numbers. They're the same number, but one's positive, one is negative. One's positive, one's negative, one is positive, one is negative. So that's opposite. Reciprocal has a different meaning. Reciprocal means you flip the fraction. So reciprocal means flip the fraction. So if I'm doing a reciprocal, if I had, let's say, like 1/2, the reciprocal would be 2 over 1. If I had something that was like negative 5, the reciprocal would be negative 1 over 5. If I had something like 2/3, the reciprocal would be 3/2. So when we're doing perpendicular lines, you have to do both opposite and reciprocal. So first thing is, if I have a positive, I make it a negative. Second thing is I take my fraction and I flip it. Let's look at this in action. So let's remember point slope form. It's y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. This says, write the point slope form of the equation of the line described. So we have it's going through 4 comma negative 5, which I'm going to label as x1, y1. And it's parallel. So that's going to be important. It's parallel to this equation, y equals negative 3/2 x plus 4. So let's start here for a second. Currently, my slope is negative 3 over 2. But I want parallel slope. So I'm going to write that the parallel slope is the same, which is negative 3 over 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cross off the slope that I wrote down, and I'm just going to use the parallel slope. Now let's actually write the equation. So as a reminder, it's y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Let's substitute the values in. So y1 is negative 5, so we do y minus negative 5 equals, our parallel slope is going to be negative 3 over 2, and then x minus our x1 is going to be positive 4. Sorry about that. Now let's take a look and see if we have double signs. Well, we have double signs at the beginning, so it really turns into y plus 5 equals negative 3 over 2, and then there's one negative, so it stays as minus 4. Now let's look at a second one. So this says, write the point slope form of the equation for the line described below. So we have that it goes to the point x1, y1. It's negative 2 comma 3. But it's perpendicular to the equation y equals 2 over 7x minus 5. So right now, our slope is 2 over 7. I need the perpendicular slope. I'm just going to write perp instead of perpendicular. So the perpendicular m means opposite reciprocal. Well, the opposite of positive is negative, and reciprocal is flip your fraction. Now again, I'm going to cross off the slope originally because I'm not using that one, I'm using the perpendicular one. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So we have y minus positive 3 equals negative 7 over 2, and then x minus negative 2. Then I just want to check the negatives. So the first one stays as a negative, and then the second one becomes a plus because there are 2 of them. Okay, now let's review slope-intercept form. So this is y equals mx plus b. So write slope-intercept form of the equation of the line described. So it goes through the point negative 2, 4, which is xy, and it's parallel, so that's important for our slope, to y equals 1/2 x plus 3. So currently our slope is 1/2, but I want the parallel slope. So the parallel slope is the same, so it's also 1/2. I'm going to cross off the original slope so that I know I'm using just the parallel one. Now because we're doing y equals mx plus b, we have to go ahead and actually find the b value first. So we have that y is 4, it equals 1/2 times negative 2 plus b. 4 equals negative 1 plus b. Add the 1 over to get 5 equals b. Now remember, we're writing the equation, so it's y equals 1/2 x plus 5. That's what I box. Okay, this one says write slope-intercept form for the equation described. So it goes through the point negative 3, 7, so that's our x and y, and then it's perpendicular to the equation y equals negative 3x minus 5. So our current slope is negative 3 over 1. But I want the perpendicular slope. So it's opposite reciprocal. Opposite means that it turns to be a positive, which I don't have to write plus, but I just want to know it's a positive. And reciprocal means flip. So we're doing positive 1 over 3. So we don't need the positive, but I want you to know it is a positive. Cancel out the original m because we're not going to use that anymore. We're using the perpendicular. So again, we got to find our b value first. So let's plug everything in. So we have 7 equals positive 1/3 times negative 3 plus b. So 7 equals negative 1 plus b. Let's add the 1 over, and we get 8 equals b. Now we just have to write the equation. So it's y equals 1/3 x, and then plus 8.